And welcome back once again to the Utica Curling Channel. This is our last draw of the day on this Saturday of the GNCC College Curling Championship and Northeast Regional qualifier for the USA Curling National Curling Championship. Top two finishers in this field qualified directly for a berth in the USA Curling National Championships. The others are relying on points they've earned here and at other events on the College Curling Tour to assure their entry. The top 6 teams out of the Northeast in terms of tour points will be on, plus the 2 qualifiers from this event. Tonight's feature game is a championship round quarterfinal matchup between Penn State 1. They'll be playing the Red Rocks, and will have hammer in the first end by virtue of their record in DSC, against RAT2 playing the Yellow Rocks. The winner of this event in the past 3 seasons, at least 2 out of the 3 times, has come out of the quarterfinals. So it's not a stretch to think that one of these teams in the quarterfinals can make it to the championship final and win it all. In 2025, last year, MIT came out of the number 5 slot to claim the trophy. In 2024, Syracuse went undefeated in pool play but wound up being the number 3 seed. They won it all. And only in 2023 did RPI 1 win the whole thing out of the number 1 seed spot. But a long way to go here. Penn State playing the Red Rocks is skipped by Robert Chappell, who's shooting lead. Istvan Preda at second. Cameron Pauley shooting third. Actually a former product of Colgate University and curled out of Utica many years back. And Eric Welp throwing fourth and is the vice skip. RIT2 shooting the Yellow Rocks, skipped by Peter Van Hoof. Will Trimble at third, Zach Narowski at second, and Dan Kolodny is filling in. Syracuse player as a fourth and playing lead. Sit back and enjoy the game. We'll try to keep you abreast of all the other scores across the sheets. We've got 3 sets of quarterfinals going on in our A, B, and C playoff divisions. Our other A event playoff is over on sheet 5. Castleton against MIT. Castleton, the number 3 seed. They lost their last pool game today to drop out of a qualifier in the semifinal spot, but are the number 3 seed here in the quarterfinals. And we're underway on sheet 2. Looks like RIT has changed their lineup. Will Trimble is throwing second rocks. Istvan Preda for Penn State. Looking to remove his yellow stone, just nicked it into the other red stone, took himself out. Did open things up a bit. Will Trimble with his second, just looking to guard up. Both teams playing at a fast pace. Good to see that. These games are timed. In these playoff games, they have 2 hours and 0 minutes to finish 7 innings of play to get to their 8th. Games are scheduled for 8 ends. No tick rule is in effect. Free guard zone, of course. And a full extra end will be played in the event of a tie at the end of regulation. This is the third game of the day for these teams. So the good news is they made the quarterfinals. The bad news, they have to play a third game today. But if they win this game, they'll be in one of the finals tomorrow. Losers are eliminated. Here's a hit and roll out. Dan Kalani with his second. Looking to move some of these red stones. That's going to go a little wide. Looks like Penn State is sitting 2 in the 12-foot. Now Cameron Pauley for Penn State. Either got this one wide or took a little too much ice. This is going to punch up a yellow stone. Looks like Penn State is still sitting 2, but they are wide open. At least one of the 2 stones is wide open. Probably need to clear out the middle. Now the skipper, Peter Van Hoof. Looks like he's playing just a straight draw through the port. Can always raise his yellow stone or wick off. This is holding out there pretty straight. Looks like it's going to be a little wick job. Going to hit it a little thick. It's just probably too heavy through the house weight there. And still looks like Penn State sitting 2 in the 12-foot. Looks like those 2 may be shot. The danger rock is that yellow rock that was just thrown. That's a rock that can be raised. Eric Welp's just going to be asked to remove it. Throwing fourth for Penn State. Trying to push this over, make it curl. Oh, don't want to nick this one in. Good thing they didn't touch it, because I think they would have wicked it in for shot behind a wall of granite. That's the straight side of sheet 2. It tends to run a little straighter on that side. We'll see if the players figure that out. This call strikes me as a little strange. They've got a nice, easy tap up. They just threw this line toward the yellow rock. I would have expected them to throw a tap up on this yellow. There's very little risk to that shot. This is actually a tough draw. If you get it wrong, you tap up or red. You could give up 3. Peter Van Hoof with his last rock here in the first end. Looking to draw for shot rock. This side will curl. And it is. It's also a fresh path. It's going to run slow. Trying to get this there. Trying to get it to curl a little more. And it was just a little heavy. And when you push a rock like that to make it curl, you make it also go deeper. So it's one of the things I tell sweepers that I'm teaching is that you can't push a heavy rock. It often ends in disaster and makes the rock go deeper than you would like. Even if you make it curl, sometimes adding the extra weight spoils any benefit. Now a chance to draw for 3, it looks like. Almost certainly Penn State is lying 2. Eric Welp now with a free draw for 3. This looks pretty heavy and wide. Might bite in some fresh pebble out here. Starting to come down. But I don't think it will stop in time. Daniel Kolodny will give that a little sweep out the back of the house. But I think that's a 2 spot for Penn State. Looks like they grabbed a deuce here in the first end to take a 2-0 lead. Not the end of the world for RIT. Lots of game to play. Lots of deuces going up in the first end here in our quarterfinal action. All 6 sheets in service. 2 quarterfinals each in the A, B, and C division playoffs. Colgate 1's taken a 1-0 lead over Navy in a C quarterfinal. RIT 1 has taken a 2-0 lead over RPI 1 in one of our B quarters. In our other A semifinal, Castleton has taken a 2-0 lead over MIT. And in our other C quarterfinal, RPI 2 leads Colgate 2 3-0 after 1. Our other B quarter is no score hung. They're playing their second end though. Our feature match, Penn State leads 2-0. RIT's got the yellow rocks, and they've got the last rock advantage here in the second end. This one's starting to curl. Oh, I needed the rub to slow that one down. That was just a little heavy. And a very nice draw there from Will Trimble. Mostly buried behind the corner guard. Chaseable. And that corner guard is pretty high. Well, plenty of room to get around it with a little lightweight inside out hit. Probably hack weight. Yeah, they started to push it. Now they're going to do it again. Need to make it curl. Doesn't want to move. It's going to be enough to chip it out of play. Well managed. Daniel Kolodny looking to draw around the corner. Gotta slow down. Line's not bad, just heavy. Barely hang around on the back 12. Need to get it by. Yeah, I had to go for line. Weight was close. Yeah, I'm not sure about those being scoring rocks. I think I want to put another one in. This draw looks the most natural to me. It might be a shade more ice than I'd take. Barely got by the corner guard. And they're going to get it wrapped at least partway around the center guard. Not a bad location. They're down to skip rocks already, and not too many good prospects for RIT for a deuce. Going to have to try to sink one around one of these reds. For this turn, they might want just a shade more. This looks awfully tight. The sweepers haven't even taken a look here. (13-3) hog to hog. That's going to be on the heavy side. Very nice draw. Stuck that pretty much edge on edge. Could probably tap that back with hack weight and stick around for shot rock. Last rock, second end, important shot, shooting against 4. Looking for a little tap back. Line looks good. Got to make it curl. Trying to push it over. Not going to have enough weight to push it through, I don't think. Maybe it will. It's close. And it just didn't have enough weight to get rid of it. And if thrown any more weight, they might have rolled out. So it'll be a steal of 1. Penn State extends its lead to 3-0 after 2. RIT with the Yellow Rocks, they will retain the last rock advantage in the third end. And we finally got a score reported over on sheet 4. That's one our other B quarterfinal. And Harvard 2 has taken a 3-0 lead over Bowdoin 1, stealing 1 in the first and stealing 2 in the second. Saknarowski at lead. Looks like they're trying for a come around. They're going to wind up tapping a guard. They'll tap it into the house where it can be removed, so not all bad. Now skip and lead. Robert Chappell will just try to draw around. Not sure that rock did much to advance the interest of Penn State. Still got an opening for a draw. Could also wick off their own yellow. Trying to get in there. You could also go the other way. I don't mind covering the 4-foot this way either. Both good options. Dan Kolodny. The line's not bad. Gonna over curl. Gonna wind up raising a yellow. And that may be shot. That worked out pretty well. A little bit of a plan B there, but it worked out quite nicely. The one advantage of going that way. Penn State's going to go the other way. You're going to come around this direction. Don't know how much it's going to curl out here. We'll see. Yeah, this one's hanging. Even with that weight, just hung on that line. Need to take a little tighter line, probably. Yeah, it's a tight draw now. You're going to try to draw through the port the other way. Dan Kolodny is going to be asked to do this again. I'm not sure they can play the tap up again, but I want to get in this way. Got a little bit wider line this time. Curling early. Maybe heavy. Well, we want to get it by the red, that's for sure. I'm not sure they're going to like that result. They kind of open up a draw path to their shot stone. They are still shot buried. I'm just not sure the draw path was there on that line. It was very tight port. Now down to skip rocks. Fourth, Eric Welp. Just looking to follow the path down to shot stone. We've seen it curl here. Curls a ton. And they're going to not take enough ice. It wrecks on the guard, but now shot stone's even more open. I think RIT's got to curl in behind the stone and provide that little bit of cover. Want to get in behind there. And they're going to try to go the other way. They're trying to come this way to sit two. And RIT is going to concede that little hit and roll inside out. if it comes to that. First skip rock, third end, RIT. Peter Van Hoof. This looks super tight. Super tight and definitely light. And now I think Shot Stone's pretty wide open. We've seen a ton of curl in this inside out direction. I think you could throw almost board weight here and still make this shot. And certainly lightweight shots were really moving. Well, that's amazing. Just a little extra weight that really straightened out, but it's enough to punch it over. And the question is, it's still second. Well, they're probably second up front, so still a good chance to score two here. That's second rock. This is shot rock. That's an easily gettable rock inside out. They've seen this shot several times now. This is very easy to get from about center line out. Just want to make sure you stick the landing. And that would be for at least a deuce, I think. I don't think they're a third shot. I think that rock is third. Well, unless they're throwing a bullet, I would probably take a little more ice to get a little more curl here. You want to hit this pretty much on the nose. And to do that, you want to curl around that corner guard. You'd be tempted to put the broom on the center line and throw maybe a heavy hack. This one started out tight. And no chance. Didn't throw the weight, didn't throw the line. Misjudged the line. That was just barely draw weight. Had to throw a hack weight takeout there, so that'll be a steal of one. And Penn State will grab a 4-0 lead. Let's check some other scores in our C quarterfinal. Colgate 1 and Naville knotted up at 2. Excuse me, knotted up at 1, second end. Colgate has the hammer in a third. Over on sheet 3, it looks like RIT grabbed another point, stole one, and they now lead 3-0 after 2. Harvard still leads Bowdoin 1, 3-0. After 2, that's a, and correction, there's a score posted. Bowdoin has tied it up. It is knotted at 3 after 3 ends of play. It's in one of our B quarterfinals. And Castleton and MIT, they're all tied up at 2 after 2 ends. That's our other championship quarterfinal. Colgate 2's lost the magic here in this quarterfinal matchup. I think all the games have finally gotten to them. They're down 9-0 after 3 ends of play to RPI 2. That's one of our C quarters. Our feature match, it is 4-0, all Penn State so far. More promising start for RIT, but that shot stone will be wide open. Need to get those rocks tucked under the guard. And that takeout will sail by. That is the straighter side of sheet 2. Have to be very careful out there. And one of the finer arts of the game is reading the ice and knowing what the ice is doing, building a mental map of it. You know, where is it flat? Where does it fall? Are there any runs in the ice? They're just tiny, imperceptible differences you can't see with the naked eye, but ice is very slippery and stones will follow imperfections. Whoever usually figures that information out first has a big advantage in the game. So knowing where to put the broom on the ice for your shooting target is really critical. One of the things I've always said is if you put the broom in the wrong place, 4 people look bad. Never a good feeling when you have the broom in the wrong spot. You throw to the spot, you throw the right weight, and you get a bad result. Shot rock still open here. They're going to come the little bit more curly way. This should curl up a little bit for them. They'll be able to control this with the brushing. Now they want to push it. And they got it moving. Just got by. Very nice sweeping. And got a little roll to boot. Still gettable. Showed him the way. It was fairly firm weight. It curled pretty nicely. This is probably maximum ice for this shot with fairly soft weight. Maybe a heavy hack. Ooh, that's set back a little bit. That's a little wide. That's going to crash the guard, I believe. Yes, indeedy. Set that back on the release. Slid close to the broom, but on the release set it back a little bit. Now a chance to guard shot rock that's hitting top button. And then Penn State can add a lot of pressure. Oh, got that guard attempt wide and heavy. That's going to go right to the back of the rings. Right, another chance to hit shot stone. This time there's no corner guard in the way. Throw a little bit softer. You might get a little inside roll underneath those 2 yellow corners. want to overthrow this. A little bit better release that time. Only set it back a little bit. It's going to catch something. It's not going to hang around. Just a little outward motion on the release carried that rock back. And just a tiny error in the release will spoil an otherwise well-thrown shot. But better than it was. Got rid of the rock on the top button. The other rock's back 8. Much less of a threat. Not sure I'd want to guard that rock in a back 8. Might want to hook one around the corners and sit 1-2. If you throw a center guard, RIT is likely just to go around it with the backing. Penn State sits 1-2, but there's a hit and roll opportunity, so I'm not sure I like the position of that rock. It gives an opportunity for RIT to hit and roll behind the corner. This is where throwing just a nice intermediate weight hit is ideal. You don't need the double. What you need is the roll behind the corner. You get a rock buried that's either shot or second shot. You can deal with that rock in a back 8 later. You do have the last rock advantage. This one's curling hard. They're going to catch a piece, so I'm not sure they're going to hang around. They're going to roll to the outer edge. And it will stop out there, so not a bad result. They are second rock. And now Penn State will either have to chase that yellow stone on the edge, or they'll have to throw in and sit 1 and 2 again. But RIT could play this game all day, hit and roll, hit and roll, hit and roll. Pretty soon they're sitting a pile against a lonely shot stone. I think ideally Penn State wants to get around these corners. This is where you need to be. If I can get my telestrator to work. There we go. Want to get behind those corners hidden. Sacrifice your rock in the back 8. Who cares? That one's probably not going to score if you get around the corners. And that'll be your scoring rock. And once again they come in. Well, it's going to be deep. Now it's behind T line and left a double. Now you can double and roll and sit 2. You will be behind T, but you'll be under cover. So double and roll. These fly. Just got to hit it on the center line side. Can't be wide here. And they're just throwing a draw at it. And that's just is too wide even for that. It's too much ice for that shot. Always try to keep the game simple. One of the questions the skip should ask themselves before every shot is, can I sit 1-2? And is there any reason not to sit 1-2? In this case, the double would have left them sitting 1-2 with the last rock advantage. Usually that's a good thing. Sometimes even if you're behind T line. Now Penn State will throw another rock in the rings. Those two reds in the back are vulnerable to a double. And this one's pretty wide as well. And that's going to join the party in the back. Might leave through the back door. And it does. It's getting late in the end. I think at some point you got to make a move on these red stones. The trouble with freezing is your opposition can freeze on top of you and they're shot. So it doesn't really gain you very much in terms of scoring a deuce. Whereas if you remove those two stones in the back, you bring this biter into play. It's not like you want to sit behind T-line 2, but you will be making Penn State make a shot. Now RIT looking to freeze on those two stones in the back. Got to make sure you get there. It can't be short. You can even score your deuce by getting around those two corner guards. Well, that's going to come up short. That's unfortunate. And now an extra guard for Penn State, and they'll probably steal two. You could come right in. If you got any curl here, you would just come right in. You could go top 8, top 4, and RIT would not be able to score. Last rock, fourth end for fourth and vice Eric Welf. Just looking to draw in or just leave one short of the house, covering the draw path. Was it really wide again? Got a lot of curling to do. Starting to make a move now. Can't push it too far because it's heavy. And that's going to go to the back four. Boy, they left a nice pocket now for Peter Van Hoof. If he can just throw a draw, he's got all the backing in the world. All those rocks behind the 4-foot. Just don't be wide here and throw this to your sweepers. Line looks great. It is heavy though. I wouldn't try to push this. You're just going to make it heavy. And too much weight. That's going to spin off and it will be a steal of 3. Have to throw that to your sweepers. There's no fixing heavy, as they say. Now Penn State leads 7-0. I think the fourth end break is a good time to meet the teams. We'll start with Penn State. Robert Chappell curls out of the Penn State Curling Club. Whole team is goofing us here on hometown and how long they've curled, so we'll skip over that. And when he's not curling, his passion is turning ideas into income. He says hello to Grandma Sally on the subreddit Wall Street Bets. Istvan Prada is the second out of the Penn State Curling Club. He enjoys spreading the gospel when he's not curling. Says hello to his congregation back home. Cameron Pauley, playing third, as we mentioned in our introduction, is actually a graduate of Colgate. Curled out of the Utica Curling Club for many years as a college curler. He is pursuing medical school, if I remember correctly. Is when he's not curling, he likes to save lives. That's a good thing to do. And he says hello to the Galentine's Day crew. And then finally Eric Welp, throwing fourth rocks and playing vice skip for Penn State. Also curls Penn State Curling Club. When he's not curling, he's solving the mysteries of the universe. I'm not sure which ones there are, but there are a lot of them. I spent a career doing that. And he says hello to his greatest fans, Julia and Grace. RIT2. Let's see, Zach Narosky playing lead tonight. Curls out of the Rochester Curling Club. Hometown is Perry, New York. He's curled for a couple of years. And he's not curling, he loves the outdoors. Says hello to Mom and Dad. Second, Will Trimble also curls out of Rochester. Fairland, Indiana, hometown. Curled for 4 years. Plays the keytar in the pep band. Have to find out what a keytar is. He says hello to Mama and Papa. Playing third, Dan Kolodny. He's actually a member of the Syracuse University Curling Club. Curls right here out of Utica. His hometown is Brighton, New York. Been curling for 5 years. And when he's not curling, he's in law school and quiz bowl. That sounds frightening. He says hello to his sisters and his mother. And then finally, Peter Van Hoof. Skip for RT2. Of course, curling out of the Rochester Curling Club from Houston, Texas. They actually have a curling club there. Ice won't be as good as it is here. He's curled for a couple of years. And when he's not curling, he enjoys photography and hiking. And he says hello to his grandmother. That's your RIT2 team. Right now, RIT2 is kind of on the back end of things, trailing 7-0 after 4. See if they get something going in this end. Try to catch up with scores across the rink here. Well, after a solid start, Colgate's fallen behind over on sheet 1. They now trail 5-2 after 4 ends of play. Let's travel over to sheet 3. And it's another out of control game. It looks like RIT1 up 7-0 over RPI1 after 4 ends. Bowdoin 1 and Harvard 2. Looks like Bowdoin 1 has taken a 4-3 lead after 4. It's like they stole the fourth end to grab the lead. And Castleton just dropped a bomb on MIT. They got 4, and they now lead 6-2 after 3 ends. The Castleton team is pretty good. If you give them an opening, they can ring up a big score on you. And over on sheet 6, no updates there. It's still 9-0. RPI 2 over Colgate 2. Colgate's got 2 teams in this field. First time they've had that many. Great to see them in action out there and making the quarterfinals. RIT's managed to get shot stone this end. It would appear they're shot rock in the back part of the house. Just touching, barely, almost touching 4 foot. Penn State just kind of looking to come down on top of them. This line looks really terrific. Don't want to go too deep here. They just freeze on their own red or the yellow. Oh man, that is a pip. Is that a great shot or what? That's worth our first instant replay. What a nicely played draw. Penn State just kind of looking to come down on top of them. This line looks really terrific. Don't want to go too deep here. Just freeze on their own red or the yellow. Oh man, that is a pip. Is that a great shot or what? Sweepers managed that shot very well to place that just exactly on the corner. It is shot stone. You can barely see it, and it is not going anywhere. Dan Kalani just trying to unstick all these stones. Just needs to rearrange the furniture here if he can. Again, line looks pretty good. Needs to curl. Just want to bounce and move some things around here. Oh my goodness, is this another good one? Oh, just bounced. Maybe just a hair over swept, but what a nice shot by Dan Kalodny. And there's shot stone. Unfortunately, rolled off just a little bit. Oh, if they'd just taken 6 inches off that weight, probably didn't need sweeping that last little bit. That would have been frozen solid on the corner and would have been unmovable. Can't throw it any better, that's for sure. Now Cameron Paul, he's going to come at this with the in-turn. This is a little interesting. Cameron's out turn, he's a lefty. This is going to run straight. I don't know if they're going to hit a guard. Yeah, they're going to hit the guard. It's a funny way to come at that rock. And go the center line out line was probably a little bit easier to manage in terms of sweeping. That would also be Cameron's in turn, which would give you probably a little more curl too. Now a chance to guard this up or even lob another one in the pocket there. Dan Kaladi with his second. He'd just like to drop another one just in front of his yellow. Again, line looks great. So it's curling hard though. Might have turned this in just a bit. Yeah, had to have started this rock a little bit. Just kind of with the release, kind of turned it in the direction I wanted to go anyway, and that just enhances the curl. Again, that you have to release straight at the broom. If you kind of turn your hand one way or the other, the rock can curl excessively, or you can even make it back up. Now a second chance to remove shot stone. Down to skip rocks, or in this case, fourth rocks. Eric Welp throwing fourth, but playing by skip. They're going to come the same way. They're going to play this in turn toward the center line. I think this one's going to curl up enough. And it does. And it rolls in the pocket. Oh, that's a really nice shot. Well done again. Worth another instant replay. They're going to come the same way. They're going to play this in turn toward the center line. I think this one's going to curl up enough. And it does. And it rolls in the pocket. Oh, that's a really nice shot. You know, Penn State now has pretty much locked all of our RIT stones out of play. They cannot possibly score. They're all behind, surrounded by reds. Reds being shotter than the yellows, if shotter is a word. Well, not to be outdone, Peter Van Hoos trying to make the same freeze. This one's going to come up a little short, though. Ay, 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 now trouble brewing for RIT. They're just looking to guard the center line. You could put one right here, top 8, and be very difficult for RT to score. It would cut off the draw path to the 4-foot, but it couldn't be hit to be shot stone. Don't want to bring this too deep. Just want to be top 12, bite 8 foot, just to be annoying. Yeah, this is fine. This will be definitely in the way, and that's going to force a very wide out-turn draw to score. Or you're going to have to tap up this yellow. Either one looks too appetizing. So tap the yellow. We'll play this wide out-turn draw. The out-turn draw will probably curl. It's not the straight side of sheet 2. Usually the straight draw is easier than a tap. A tap, you have to have the right weight and the right line. With the draw, the line is a little more flexible. As you can manage the finish of a draw with sweeping a little easier than you can manage the exact collision point for a tap. Yeah, and after they've taken a look at it, the skipper definitely does not like the tap up. And that ice looks about right. I think if I was playing this draw, this would be pretty close to what I would take. I might take just a touch more. It doesn't have to get by the guard. You know, it doesn't have to squeak by. It's not like he's trying to hide this rock. This This is the last rock of the end. He just needs a good piece of the forefoot, and I think you can get that and give that guard a little bit of berth. Last rock, fifth end. Looking for forefoot. Line looks great. Weight does not. And that's going to sail through. Just too heavy. That's going to be at least 2. Now they're looking for 3. Not sure it really matters. It's a bunch. It was 3. And that's 10-0. Well, Penn State had the hammer in the first end, and they've given away the hammer every end since. They now lead 10-0. We're going to switch over to our other A semifinal. That's over on sheet 5 between Castleton and MIT. Castleton with a 4-point lead, but looks like there are a ton of yellow rocks in play. So let's go and take a look over on sheet 5. Wee bit of trouble here for Castleton. They were leading 6-4. Now they're leading 6-2. They're now leading only 6-4, and they're looking at a pile of yellow rocks. Castleton playing the red rocks, and they do have the last rock advantage this end. And it looks like MIT is sitting 1, 2, 3, 4. I think if Castleton hammers this top rock, it may redirect from here to there to there. You'll certainly be able to get rid of 2 of the yellows. You lose your shooter. If you hit it on the nose, you might lose the one on the side of the 8 and the one in the back 8. We'll see what happens here. Not a lot, not heavyweight, looking just to play a tap, it looks like. This could redirect onto the 4. It's going to over curl. He'll get rid of 1. He'll roll it in behind, and it is shot stone. I don't think that's quite the way they drew it up, but it worked nevertheless. I think they were intending to hit that on the other side, but it did work. Now Castleton is now shot rock, leading by 2. I mean, it is chippable if you're willing to take it on. Maybe. The risk is trying to chip it out. It may jam on the yellow. So that's the danger. MIT is going to take on the yellow tap up, and this greatly over curled. Now a chance to score 2 of the last rock for Castleton. Where can you put this rock? You need to be close to the 4 foot. I don't think I would take on any draw. I would not take on any draw on this side. This is danger. Will Robinson, I wouldn't do that. The question is, can you curl around these rocks on the outside far enough to get shot? Don't want to mess this up. You've got 1 in the bag. The thing here is you do not want to touch the yellow in the top 8. You got 1 locked up. I don't know, maybe this outturn draw around the yellow is the way to go, if there's any curl at all. This just looks like an incredibly tough shot. Come around your own red and outcount that rock in the top 8. Might be there. They're going to give it a go. They're looking to go somewhere back here. Last rock. Fifth end. It's curling up, and it's just going to be short. It's a score of 1 for Castleton. They lead 7-4. 5 ends in. All right, we'll catch you up on scores around the rink. Over on sheet 1 in the C quarter, Navy leads Colgate 1, 5-2. Penn State 1, RIT 2 was our feature game. Penn State 1 is still up 10-0. Over on sheet 3, RIT 1 leads 8-0 over RPI 1. That's in the B quarter. After 5 ends of play. Bowdoin 1 leads Harvard 2, 6-3 after 5. That's our other B quarter. And over on sheet 6, RPI 2 in firm control, 10-0 over Colgate 2 in another one of our C quarters. In our bonus coverage game, Castleton leads MIT 7-4 in our A quarterfinal game. Looking at the time clock, if teams continue at a good pace, they should be on track to play 8 ends. A little over 30 minutes on the game clock. And that's to finish the 7th end. Fantastic sweep to get that rock as far as they did. MIT's got a couple of shooters on the rings. Castleton shot rock. Back 4. It is pretty open. I'd be tempted to throw this draw through the other port. Nothing wrong with this draw as long as you make it. Need to sit 1-2 or 1-3. Little plan B action here. Need to get this to the 8 foot. Not sure they did. I think they're 1-4. Yep, 1-4. And no one wants to come through the hole. Looks like the hole's wide open. Looks like that shot's available to take that red stone out. Going to draw the other way. Another fantastic sweep here. Can't believe they carried it this far. Just to a biter. Boy, the yellow counters are building up, though. I think you're going to have to take on this draw or a hit and roll. A hit and roll would be okay. A draw in would be okay. Need to get a couple of counters in the rings here. Love to sit 1-2. You're going to throw the draw. Yeah, you get half buried behind the top yellow, kind of Christmas tree. Again, let's draw a Christmas tree. Put your red rock anywhere on that line. Anywhere from top 4 to top button. And either red rock would be very difficult to remove. Got our first final. RPI 1 is conceded. RIT 1 advances on to the B semifinal tomorrow morning. And likewise, we have a final on sheet 2. Penn State victorious over RIT. They advance on to the championship semifinal tomorrow morning. For the full championship draw, you can go to collegiatecurling.org, or you can link off the Utica Curling Club homepage at uticacurlingclub.org for the latest news about the event. That draw came up a bit short, but it did provide a guard. But MIT's got possibilities here. They got an angle run. I think they have to take that on at some point. And that point coming not too long from now. This angle raise is there. Has to sit a bunch. Well, looks like they're taking this on. Get a better color here so it doesn't blend into our house in our telestrator. toss this one out just a little bit to get the necessary weight. Yeah, they either need to guard that angle raise or they got to stick another rock in the house, which doesn't look too easy, so they're going to go for the guard. Don't want to be too close to that Yellowstone. Don't want to set up an angle for them. Well, the angle raise is still there. And this one overcorrected and has turned this one inside a little bit. Plan B, maybe C. Push the rock into a useful position. Now lots of raises to get at the shot rock. Yellow's got a selection of raises, this one and this one. Both are possible. Want to throw a guard. Right in that area. And this one's going to over curl. Found a lot of curl out there. Goes pretty hard toward sheet 6. Don't even get a useful bounce. And so that angle raise is still there. They're going to go for, this will be the third time. Third time's the charm. Over curled already. Oh, might get a little redirect here. No, too much. And now that is the angle raise is not makeable anymore from that direction. In fact, it pretty much messed up all the angle raises. I think the only one left is this one. But it's tight by the guard. Castleton's going to be content to try to get a guard in this region again. Last rock, 6 stand for Castleton. Want to get this over. The line looks really good this time. And that's a good spot. That covers both raises. And so we're now down to one of the 2 raises on the left. The only one that makes sense is the one that's on the 4-foot line. This is really tight by the guard. Wish I could draw a straight line here. I'll try again. Really tight by the guard. And you got to hit this a little on the high side too. You can't hit it low. You almost have to come at this inside out. It's going to be very hard to make it from this direction, because you do have to hit it on the outside, outer half. This is over curled already. Not enough weight in any event. It's going to crash on the top centers. And that'll be a steal of 1. (8-4) Castleton over MIT. That's after 6. They now lead by 4. Over on sheet 1, Colgate fought back to tie the game up 5-5, but they now gave up a deuce and they trail 7-5, but they do have the hammer here in the 7th end. That's been a back and forth affair with some big numbers. Looks like Bowdoin 1 is close to wrapping up their game against Harvard 2. They lead 10-3. And Colgate finally got on the board. I think they'll probably give it up after the 7th ends. They trail 10-2 and do not have last rock here in the 7th in our other C quarter. It's tough competition for these new teams from Colgate, but they've got tons of potential, and we look forward to seeing those teams develop next year. Looks like they've got a core of really enthusiastic curlers with a lot of promise. On we go to the 7th. In our bonus coverage of our A semifinal game. This game's been a little slow. Not sure they're going to finish this end in time to play 8, so this may well be the final end of the game. All the other games are very far along in the 7th. Main issue that slows down teams and creates slow play is not having shooters not ready to shoot. The other big time killer and for slow play is having too many skips. The 3 tenors was a great idea. The 4 skips is a disaster. These teams in our A semifinals, though, are pretty decisive. Nice job of carving that rock to make it curl a little more. MIT's got to get some rocks hidden here. They need a big end. Might get the 8th end in if they hustle. They've got just under 9 minutes to play. So if the teams don't dawdle and there are a few hits here along the way, they might make it. Oh, that just chips. Fortunate little chip. Keep it in the rings. Otherwise, I think it was going through. But it will be wide open to hit. And we have a final over on sheet 6. RPI 2 is victorious 12-2. Colgate 2 is unfortunately eliminated, but they've had a very fine event. It was successfully made, rolled to a counter in the outer 12. Trying once again to get around this corner guard. line was perfect, but just a little light. And again, that'll be wide open for removal. Only a matter of weight to throw here. You don't mind just throwing a straight peel here and rolling out. You don't need any guards in play. Want to avoid that jam in the back, just in case that rock sticks on the rings. It would be unfortunate. Wouldn't mind getting rid of that little tripper back there, though. So here we go. And away it goes. Did leave a center guard, though, so that helps MIT. And we do have another final Bowdoin 1. There's a winner, 10-5 over Harvard 2. That's in one of our B quarters. So both Bowdoin 1 and RIT 1 will advance to the B semi tomorrow. Lucky them, they get to curl at 8 a.m., but we'll be here too with coverage of semifinal games. We'll probably choose an A semifinal. But of course, we'll always have a look in at other games and keep track of the scores. And it's a final. Over on sheet 5. Let's call it 9-4. Castleton over MIT. And they advance to our championship semifinal tomorrow. We'll have the matchups for you shortly, and you can find the pairings and the complete result sheet over at collegiatecurling.org or link from our homepage at uticacurlingclub.org. We have one remaining game on the ice, but unfortunately we can't show that to you since it's over on sheet 1 where we don't have any cameras. But if you want to find out the results of that game, check out the results page for this event. That concludes our coverage for tonight. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8 a.m. for semifinal action, and at 11:30 tomorrow for championship final. Until then, this is Roger Roulette for the Utica Curling Club. This is the Utica Curling Channel. Have a good night.